Hey there, all you cool, epic, and awesome fans, followers, and listeners. Welcome to today's episode of the podcast, which is episode 40. I am Matt, your co-host,
And I'm the other co-host, Joe.
and we have a pretty exciting episode today. This is our first episode of 2024.
Yeah.
Pretty big milestone. I think we started in 2022, right? So
Yeah, we
this
got
is
some...
this is our third
some
year
pretty-
of podcasting.
Wow, that's actually nuts. I didn't realize it was 3 years.
Yeah, I mean it hasn't been 3 years,
No,
but
I know, but still,
yeah.
technically.
I can't. Yeah, episode 40 is a pretty big milestone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we got some exciting things for today's episode. 2 movies we're really gonna go into depth on. One we'll just touch on, and those are the Iron Claw, which came out like Christmas Day.
Yeah, I think the 22nd, yeah.
Yeah, we're a little late on that one, but I didn't think it was gonna be as good as it was. So
Yeah.
and then I recommended last episode the classic Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is very highly regarded. It's like a film buff's perfect film kind of thing, you know. And we'll touch on Night Swim, which was like one of the first movies of 2024 that I saw. Joe was gonna see it, but spoiler alert, it was so terrible that I just said it's not even worth it to go. So I'll like briefly touch on that. And then I'm also excited because this episode we're gonna reveal our nominees for our first ever cool, epic, awesome film awards that we're gonna do. So we have some cool categories that we can go into. I'm excited for that. So,
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, but I guess we could get things started on the Iron Claw. Joe, you think you could give a little synopsis on what the movie's about?
Yeah, so it takes place in the 1970s or 80s, I want to say.
I think the 70s.
And it's about this family, the Von Erichs, and their dad was a wrestler, and then like he has a bunch of sons, and basically they all become wrestlers. And it mostly follows around their I think he's the oldest, Zac Efron's character, Kevin Von Erich. And it just follows him around, and it shows like their bond basically with the rest of his brothers, and how like they're raised, and how their dad's like kind of lives his dream through them, for better or worse.
For worse, definitely.
Yeah, definitely for worse. But I want to we'll start off by saying like this is, at least in my opinion, Zac Efron's best performance in anything I've seen him in.
I would say easily.
Yeah.
He's good in like The Greatest Showman, but nothing compared to this.
No, this is like a legit Oscar worthy performance.
Yeah. And the thing about this film is it's so heartbreaking. I didn't expect it to be as sad as it was. There are some scenes in the third act that are insane.
Yeah.
How sad they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's terrible what the father did to these kids. He was so manipulative. And there was like a couple lines within the movie. Like I remember one time I forget who, one of the brothers is like talking to the dad. Oh no, I think it's Jeremy Allen White's character when he comes back from the Olympics. The dad's like, "Oh, we might, since your Olympics thing is going to work out, maybe you'd want to wrestle with your brother." And then the dad's like, "I would never wish wrestling upon any of you, but just because the Olympics works out." And meanwhile, like he's clearly wanting them to wrestle.
Yeah.
It's just insane manipulation. It's like insane gaslighting.
Yeah, there's a scene of like when in one of Kevin's like first big fights, like he gets slammed on the concrete. He's like laying on the ground, and like he was just like, yeah, like I didn't know what to do. I never got slammed on the concrete, and instead just like, yeah, like you gotta just get up and fight it off. And he was just kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I think all of the actors are pretty well cast.
Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White was great. He was like he wasn't supposed to be a wrestler, but then the Olympics got canceled for whatever. I forgot what the reasoning was. And he ends up coming back.
Yeah.
He was going to be like an Olympic runner.
No, he was a discus thrower.
Oh yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So he was great. Obviously
Even the
Zac
dad,
Efron was great.
the dad was like, as like, I mean, you hate him, you like,
Yeah.
but like, there's a credit to
Fritz
the actor.
Fritz von Erich is actually my most hated film character this year, I would say.
Yeah,
I actually hate him. I'll slap the shit out of him if I seen him. And no, he's dead actually, but um, he was terrible, bro. And also the other dude who played David, Harris Dickinson. That was the one that he kind of took the spotlight away from
oh yeah,
Kevin. I don't know if you've seen it. He was in Triangle of Sadness last year,
I
which I don't think.
haven't, I haven't seen, but this is like honestly the first thing I've seen of him.
Yeah, he was great in that, and he was great in this. Um, he wasn't like Zac Efron was the most buff of the three. He's the one that kind of looks like the
Yeah,
biggest wrestler. But for some reason, the brother got all the spotlight, and he was the one who got chosen to compete for the belt. Um, and there's a scene when I forgot what happens, but I think David had been like basically he'd been injured, but because of the way his dad raised him, he would never like look to anyone for help or take a rest day or anything. So he was playing through this injury or wrestling through this injury, and he ends up dying, and it's because he had like internal bleeding. I think he had like
yeah, his
his
colon.
intestine burst or something.
Yeah, he ruptured his colon.
Yeah, so he ends up going out to Japan to do this title fight, and he dies in his hotel room,
Yeah,
which is obviously a devastating blow to the family. And then the first thing that happens is the dad and the rest of the brothers that are alive go out, have like a beer and are just talking. And the dad's like, "We can't let them take this from us. One of you guys is gonna have to take his place in this title match." Like he doesn't even care that his son
yeah,
just
it just
died.
doesn't phase him. It's just yeah,
It's all about getting this title, this whatever it is, national. I forget what it was, national champion
yeah,
or World Wrestling
whatever the hell.
Federation.
Yeah.
Just what I don't know. It's I don't know. He's just such a manipulator. He's such an asshole.
And then what's the worst of all is there's the one that was at the band, the one that wasn't even a wrestler at all. Um, he was in like the band. Uh, Mike,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Mike. He
So
was the
Mike,
least athletic. He was,
yeah.
he didn't
So he
even he wanted
wasn't even
to play music.
he didn't even want to like do anything athletic or wrestle, but they kind of like forced him to. And in one of his first matches, he like breaks his collarbone, but like something goes wrong during surgery. He ends up getting an infection and like dying. And it's just like he wasn't even supposed to wrestle. He was just like,
Yeah,
you know,
what did coming from like a medical standpoint, like what happened? It was a freak
he
thing. He
got
went
he
into a
got like
coma.
sepsis. Yeah, he got sepsis, and like sometimes when like you like you get surgeries and stuff like that, you're more susceptible to infections. And he probably just caught like a freak thing, and he never recovered. It does happen, but it's just
Yeah, he came out from the
But
surgery.
like
Eventually,
if he would have never had broken his collarbone, he would have never died because he would have never got like the infection.
yeah.
It wasn't like like he got hurt wrestling. Like I don't know.
That's another heartbreaking thing is like
Yeah,
when he comes out and he's doing the press conference with Kevin, and you could tell he's like he's so shaken
Jesus.
up, and he can like barely speak normally. Something went wrong in his brain after that, and the people in the audience are like, "When do you expect to get back in the ring?" He's like clearly insanely messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like he has like a cognitive delay.
Hmm. And then
And then
he ends up killing himself with
yeah.
pills. What
And
was his reasoning? He was just like, it's probably
yeah.
better up there than I'm doing here, or something like
He
that.
just I think he just never really like he never really found his place after his injury. He kind of felt like a
Yeah.
burden on everybody.
Hmm. I also want to point out how you could see how the manipulation also affected the mother. She never showed any
Yeah.
emotion.
Yeah.
She just kind of went along with her business, did what she was told. It's only by the time like her fourth son dies that she finally starts to like cry a little bit.
Yeah, like there's that scene of like she had to wear like the same dress again because like two sons died within the span of like. I mean,
Okay.
like in the movie, I don't know what it is in real life, but in the movie, they all the brothers basically die within the span of like maybe 5 years. Like it's pretty short time period.
Yeah. Um.
I don't know how accurate that is, but
Yeah. There's like it. The story is so insane. It's.
yeah.
I'm surprised I've never heard of it until now because it's actually like
Yeah, no,
on
I
the.
literally I never knew about the Van Eriks before until I mean I guess because we're not big wrestling fans, but
Yeah. But apparently there was another brother that they didn't include who also killed
yeah, who
himself.
also killed himself. Yeah, that was
But
the 5-year-old brother that died. In the movie, they changed it because they said like you know how
oh
it is Zac Efron is that like younger brother,
yeah, but or no, it's technically his older brother, but
his
he
older brother.
dies.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So
But I thought people were saying there was another one besides that, or
I
did they
thought that
switch up the
no, I
story?
think
I
they
don't.
switched it for the story
Okay.
because I remember the director saying like it would have been like too
Yeah, they were
much.
saying like people wouldn't believe that it was true, even though
Yeah.
the real
It,
story is like less believable than this made up story,
Yeah,
which is
it's
like
crazy, and it's even more nuts. Is like it's all literally a result of the father.
yeah, it's
Like every
literally
single
it's
one.
all his
Like
fault. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And to talk about Jeremy Allen White's character, like his fate a little bit. What happens with him is he gets pushed by his after his older brother dies, the first brother dies, he takes his spot in the match and he's the first one to take home the
the
title.
heavy. Yeah, title.
But he was like so stressed from doing all this, he starts relying on alcohol. And after he wins the match, he ends up going out for a ride on his motorcycle after he'd been drinking the whole night, gets into an accident, and he has to amputate his leg.
Yeah,
So he can't really wrestle anymore. I think he did a great job of showing his frustration with like not
yeah.
being able to wrestle again, and how like annoyed he got when it was just killing him to do the
To
basic
walk.
wrestling moves
Yeah,
with his brother. And then because of that, he turns to alcohol and even more than he already did. And he basically thinks he's like a freak. He's so insecure about his injury.
yeah.
There's that scene where he calls his brother and he's like, I forget what he says his wording exactly, but he's like, I'm a monster, like I can't live with myself. Or
Yeah,
or he's not a cripple. I forget what the word is, but he said something like that.
yeah.
And then he ends up his brother's like pleading with him and he ends up coming home, whatever. And Kevin tells his dad like, "Yo, just watch out for him because he's not doing well." And of course, the dad
Isn't
doesn't
his
listen.
dad like oh like his dad's like whatever issues you have figured out amongst yourselves.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, "That's what you guys are for. You have to resolve your issues with each other." Because he just like can't be bothered. He only cares about getting that title back in the family.
Yeah,
And then he ends up killing himself. After that scene, where they have that moment where he gets to heaven and he's
yeah,
like going in the boat and sees the rest of his brothers. I was actually like trying so hard not to cry in the
yeah.
theater.
No,
It was so sad, especially when
yeah.
they get to meet their oldest brother who died when he
Oh,
was young. And in heaven, he's like the same age he was when he died, so it's like a little like
like a kid.
4 year old. His name was Jack Jr. or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like a real gut punch, that scene. The last like
Oh yeah.
30 minutes were just
It's really a fucking emotional whirlwind, especially like
yeah.
the ending lines with Zac Efron with his sons is like
Yeah, I thought
really
that the writing in that last scene was
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Couple lines. He says he starts crying. He's watching. He ends up escaping. He's the only one that he thought his name was. He was so messed up by what happened that he thought his name was cursed. He didn't.
yes. Oh
He
yeah,
changed the name of his sons. He changed their last name
yeah. So they're not
so
the
that
Von Erichs. They're I forgot what they are.
yeah, I forgot the other name, but he changed their name so that they wouldn't have the Von Erich curse.
Curse.
So yeah, that last scene, he moves out with his wife, who's played by Lily James. I really like her, by the way. Just a side note. I remember when we did the the DCU fan cast thing. I picked her to play Wonder Woman. So maybe that'll come to fruition now.
Honestly, I see after watching that, I definitely see her as more like a Lois Lane. I mean, now I know that's not possible, but
yeah, she's great, Lily James. Though she's not like in much really,
yeah,
especially nowadays. But yeah, I thought she was great in the movie too. But anyways, yeah. So Zac Efron, he moves out with her. They have the kids, whatever.
yeah.
The last scene, he's kind of watching his two boys play with each other and their like relationship, and he starts crying. They come over to comfort him. The scene works on so many levels because one, he's like, oh, I'm a man. You shouldn't see me cry, and he only says that because that's
the way his
thing,
dad.
Yeah, that's
his
this
dad
thing
raised him. Like I remember,
his
like
dad. Go ahead.
Didn't he say this? Like one of the funerals, I'm pretty sure the first funeral, he says like I think he says that line, like that.
Yeah, they were wearing sunglasses, and he's like, "Take your sunglasses off."
Oh yeah, like yeah,
because he doesn't want them to hide their tears. Like he doesn't want them to cry at all.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So he has that line about how men shouldn't cry, and the sons are like, what? That's fine. What's wrong? And he says,
cry,
yeah. And then he's like, nothing. It's just that I used to be a brother and I'm not anymore. Which that line was pretty tough.
It's like a gut punch. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, the kids are like, "That's all right, Dad. Like we'll be your brothers." And then it was just like the tears. I wasn't crying, but everyone around me was.
I was crying.
Yeah. No, I wish I could have got a good tear. I don't know. I just like don't cry for movies. I get like insanely sad and acknowledge my sadness, but there's no physical manifestation of that. But yeah, I went with my girlfriend. She was hysterical crying for like the last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's just the last 30 minutes are just fucking.
Yeah,
it's rough.
And honestly, we've only really been talking about the story, but just because of how complex it is and how good it is, how good the characters are. But there's a lot of other aspects of the film that I like. I like the vibe of like where and when it takes place, the setting, the time period. I really like the music. I think it has a pretty good soundtrack.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of issues with some pacing in the third, and like the second act going into the third, it slows down for a good chunk.
Yeah.
But nothing crazy. I didn't like hate any.
No, yeah, there was nothing.
No. But yeah, I guess for favorite characters, if we want to do that, I probably go back and forth between Kevin and what's Jeremy Allen White's character and Kerry. I think both of them were great. I don't know. I feel like Kerry's story is a little more complex because he was like physically messed up from basically as a product of his dad, and then he ends up getting emotionally damaged, and he has like this tragic story of him ending his own life.
Yeah.
But then Kevin, he's been through the most out of any of them because he had to watch all of his brothers fall.
Go through it, yeah.
So I go back and forth on the two of them, but probably Kevin I think is my favorite because he is the lead.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Zac Efron has the best performance in the movie.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and then if you want to say your favorite scene, does anything stick out?
I mean, there's so many. Like, obviously, the ending scene is a really good one that I haven't seen. But honestly, the scene when the three of them, Kevin, Kerry, and David, all like wrestle for the first time together, and they're in the ring. I actually really like that scene, like that fight scene. Well, not fight scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The wrestling scenes overall were really good. I think
enjoyed them a lot.
I would say my favorite scene probably though is that final scene because it stuck with me the most. But yeah, I forgot to mention like how physical of a performance that these guys put on too.
Yeah,
it's like a very physically demanding role.
Yeah.
They were saying between takes they had like gyms next to their trailers, like gym setups, so that they were able to get pumps in between their takes. That they looked as big as possible while they were like filming the scenes. Very physically demanding, and Jeremy Allen White got huge for it. Zac Efron got huge.
Matt, yeah, he looks fucking
He's
massive.
he's definitely on something
Yeah,
now.
you could tell from how vascular he is.
Yeah, and he had like some acne on his chest. He had the signs of being on
Yeah,
steroids.
I mean
But
that's what a lot of the actors do. It's
yeah,
not, you know.
dude, you think the Marvel guys aren't on it? That you can't
Yeah,
achieve a
I'm
body
not like
like that?
saying it like, yeah, I'm not trying to like shame Zac Efron or anything like that.
No,
Like it's
no.
just, that's just how it is in Hollywood.
Yeah, but they have the best doctors and they quality stuff. So it's probably. I mean, I'm sure it's still bad for their health, but
Yeah,
if you are gonna do steroids, that's like the best way to do it.
yeah, like under the supervision of like fucking professionals.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we covered it pretty much. I don't really know if I have anything else to say.
Yeah, no.
This was an A24 film, also. I'm not really familiar with
Oh,
the director, Sean Durkin.
yeah, this is like his biggest thing he's done.
Yeah, I actually quickly want to look into his filmography really quick.
Filmography.
Dead Ringers, I've heard of that. That's a show. Um, oh, he has Marcy May Marlene, that movie. I've heard of that one just because of Elizabeth Olsen being in it.
What is it?
I think it's about this girl who leaves a cult and then like the ramifications of that, basically. I do want to check that out a lot more though now, especially after watching this. But yeah, I guess we'll get to ratings. I gave it a 4.5 star, 9 out of 10. The story itself just pulled me in so much, and it was one of those movies that I just walked away from, and I took so much from it. It made me like appreciate what I had a lot more, like
Yeah.
how close we are,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can just like it's a movie for like if you have a
If you have a
brother,
brother,
then
yeah.
it'll just hit that much harder for you.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I same thing. I gave it a 4.5. So 9 out of 10. Like, and I don't know if it's because obviously we're brothers, but like the movie just hit so different for obviously me and you, and I just oh, besides that, like the writing was fantastic. I can go on and on about how visually it's good, and but
Yeah, yeah.
overall,
It's crazy how good 2023 has been for movies.
yeah, next year's gonna suck.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, you're gonna talk about that might be a good transition, actually.
No,
Uh,
I'm gonna go into Night Swim. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh wait, that's
because
what
I
you're gonna
actually,
transition to?
yeah, because I was gonna say starting with you. You probably this is your first movie you saw in 2024, right?
Well, I watched this movie Good Grief on Netflix that came out.
Oh, was that the what's his name's debut, directorial debut?
Yeah, Dan
The guy
Dan Levy or whatever.
from Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was my first theater movie of the year. I went to go see it by myself just because my girlfriend usually goes with me to see stuff, but she's away, and I had like decent interest in the movie. And it's a Night Swim, by the way.
Yeah. I was
Um,
away, or else I would have obviously won with you.
it's Blumhouse. You have Wyatt Russell. You have Kerry Condon, both talented actors, and it's a story about a haunted swimming pool. So, first of all, the premise is stupid as fuck, but I feel like if they played it the right way, it had a shot of working. But yeah, it was really bad. Like it was actually terrible. I was just sitting there in the theater by myself, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing here? Like this movie's so bad." But yeah, as I was watching it, I was kind of like, I couldn't imagine a way for them to take that premise and make it good. Like
Yeah, the way
I
you
had,
because you explained it to me a little bit, like the plot. It's like way more complicated than it should be, right?
yeah. So you think a haunted swimming pool, you're like, all right, they're clearly gonna play it as, and this would be fine. All right, in the past there was a murder that happened at a swimming pool, and now the pool is haunted because of that.
I
But
was gonna
instead
say,
of
or even like when they made the pool, like they buried bodies like
yeah,
underneath the pool or something. You know what I mean?
instead of doing that, they do this convoluted like mythological backstory where they're like, oh, this pool pulls in groundwater to fill it. It's different than normal pools that, you fill up by a hose. This one pulls in the groundwater that's around. And then they go on to reveal that where that pool is, like all the way back in the day, there was this ancient pond that if you threw a coin in it, it would like grant you whatever wish you wanted. And because of that water going into the pool, that's why the water's haunted, because it's kind of like a monkey's paw situation where it's like, yeah, you get what you wish for, but you lose something else. And it's like that. First of all, it doesn't make any like. It's just so stupid.
What the fuck does it have to do with the pool? Like, why?
It's so convoluted. It's just like you. It's so clear what you should have done, and you just completely missed the mark. So whatever. The story is this family moves into a new house. It actually. I was surprised by this because it wasn't any of the marketing, unless I missed it. But Wyatt Russell plays like an MLB player. He's like an
I did
MLB.
not know that.
I think he's not a pitcher. He's like a shortstop or something. But he's sick or I forget. I don't even know. He has an injury or like an illness or something, and he can't play. I think he has an injury, and they're like, oh, you can use this pool for physical therapy, whatever. So he goes into the pool. And then he instantly starts like getting healed. He's able to like, knock a baseball like 500 feet or something. Like I don't know. And it's revealed that like the pool, the water like went into his nose and like took him over, so he was getting possessed.
Okay, I mean that's all right.
It's like it's decent. It's decent.
Okay, yeah, that's all right. I can buy that.
But then he ends up getting possessed, and he's like trying to kill his own kids because they're like, "Oh, the pool needs a sacrifice, so you have to drown one of the people to get your wish or whatever." And I guess his wish was, being able to return to the MLB. But obviously, shit doesn't go that way.
But like, I feel all right. Like if they're going for that, like I feel like why do they have to make it that like this? They could have just literally been like, people died in that pool, and the reason like they're telling him to do this, and he's getting healed because of that. They could just say like, oh, like she's dead and like has like these what I mean?
And that's the thing, because
I feel like that would have been like,
there are some scenes
more...
where like there'll be ghosts, or like the kids are swimming and they see like these weird zombie people in the water, and it's like, who are these people supposed to be? Because it's not like there was a graveyard there or something. It was just like, oh, this is like a monkey's paw wish kind of thing. So, like, what are these zombie people? Who are they supposed to be? Are they supposed to be like other people that have died previously in the pool? There is one girl that it's like how most of the horror movies have like an opening kill, where it's like something will happen and then it cuts to the title card, whatever. So this one, there's like a young girl that she's swimming, she gets pulled underwater, she drowns in that pool, and then it goes to the title card. At the end of the movie, Kerry Condon's character is like trying to save her daughter from the pool. She's swimming, trying to like get her daughter to the top, and then like that girl from the beginning just appears in the water, and she's like not a zombie, and she's like, oh, you're swimming the wrong way, and like points her in the right direction. So she kind of saves her. So if it's established that the people that die in the pool are like they're like victims. They're victims, Then who are the zombie people? Like, what? If you're going this mythological approach,
I guess the people that like died back then in the fucking like lake or whatever that it was from, because she died in the pool. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not trying to.
Maybe they explain this, but if they did, I didn't catch it. But yeah, to me, it just seems like the actors didn't give a fuck. The directors didn't give a fuck. It's a lazy screenplay.
I mean, it really made like a profit, technically, right?
I mean, it made 15 million worldwide, which is like not that great. If you think about Megan, like last year, January's Blumhouse movie was Megan. That made a lot more than this. That made like 100 something first weekend, I feel like.
No, it didn't. 100?
I'm gonna look this up because I'm pretty sure I remember that.
Maybe like 30 million.
Let me see. Megan box office opening. Let's see. Oh no, you're right. 30 million. Okay, that was it. All right, I'll admit
I was
I
gonna
was
say
wrong.
maybe like
It
100
made like
million.
100. Yeah, I think it made 100 total. But oh wait, no, I think it
But
made
also,
30,
but
30
also, dude,
domestically.
you gotta remember too. Like, there's not really shit coming out, so like this is gonna kind of like I won't be surprised if next week it comes in at like fucking 9 million, and then the week after that it'll be like fucking 7. Like it's gonna linger a little bit. There's not really anything like what's coming out in January.
I don't know. Nothing. Literally
There's
nothing.
no horror movies coming out really.
Yeah, but no, I'm
It's
trying to think
I
if
have a
I've.
feeling it's gonna not like like
No, but
fucking
I
mad
just
money,
know
but
Megan made 30 million domestically. This made
Megan
15.
also was good.
Yeah, that's true. This just I feel like it was doomed for failure. Like the premise is so dumb. I just don't. And the one way that they could have spun it that would have worked, they just didn't do.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was just a complete miss. Um, I don't have a favorite character or favorite scene at all. I can't even lie. But yeah, I gave it a 1.5 star. So 3 out of 10. I mean, the only redeeming factors about it is that some of the creature design was interesting with like how the zombies looked. And Harry Condon I like and Wyatt Russell I like, so I didn't mind that they were on screen most of the time.
yeah.
But besides that, it's really bad. It's not worth your time. That's why
Didn't
I
tell me to
basically
watch it.
told you it's not even worth it. Yeah. But all right. So past that, we can move on to our nominees.
Oh, I
Our
love the nominees.
nominees. Yeah. We'll do movie news after. Um so yeah, I'll pull up our doc. We'll go category by category. So
Yeah.
I'll give mine first, then you can give yours. So yeah, this is gonna be something that we'll try to if we're doing this podcast in the future, we'll do it every year. And it was actually a lot of fun, like getting my picks for the year. So yeah, for best picture for me this year. Also, by the way, we're doing 4 nominees per category each. So best picture, I had this is in no order. The Holdovers, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and Poor Things. I'm not gonna like talk about any of it just because it would take too long, but I'm just gonna kind of read them out. So yeah, what'd you have?
Yeah. My 4 was in no order either. Barbie, The Iron Claw, Poor Things, and Past Lives.
Interesting. Barbie is not even in my like top 20 movies of the year, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, it was that high up for you.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Say what you will, bro. It's your best pictures. You
I
know.
just think it's it's very original. Like
Yeah. And then
yeah.
next category, best lead performance by a male. I had Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer, Joaquin Phoenix, Beau Was Afraid, Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, and Zac Efron for The Iron Claw.
Um, for me, I had Cillian Murphy from Oppenheimer, Zac Efron from The Iron Claw, Michael Fassbender from The Killer, and Barry Keoghan from Saltburn.
I know we both have Zach. I feel like he's gonna get snubbed for
Yeah,
Oscars.
he
He
is.
didn't get nominated for Golden Globes or anything. So, but all right. So best lead performance by a female. Now I had Kaylee Spaney, Priscilla, Emma Stone, Poor Things, Natalie Portman from May December, and Thomasin McKenzie from Eileen.
I had Emma Stone from Poor Things, Greta Lee from Past Lives, Lily Gladstone from Killers of the Flower Moon, and Margot Robbie from Barbie.
Yeah, Lily just won the Golden Globe for her performance.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna age poorly if she ends up winning the Oscar. Personally, but
Did she get I mean, the nominees are now, yeah, right?
yeah, but I'm pretty sure she's the favorite to win. But she's like, I don't know. Well, whatever. We'll talk about the Golden Globes later, and I'll
Yeah.
talk more about it. But all right, and then best supporting performance by a male. I had Charles Melton, May December, Glenn Howerton from Blackberry, Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, and Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer.
For me, I had Charles Manson from May December, Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things, Robert Downey Jr. from Oppenheimer, and Ryan Gosling from Barbie.
Solid. Solid. All right, best supporting for a female. I had Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers, Emily Blunt from Oppenheimer, Julianne Moore from May December, and Penelope Cruz from Ferrari.
For me, I feel like these are very different from for us. Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer. I had Ao at a Bari, right?
Yeah, Edabiri.
Atterbury from Bottoms, Julianne Moore from May December, and Vanessa Kirby from Napoleon.
Yeah, I mean, no, we have two matching, Emily Blunt and Julianne Moore. But the
Honestly,
other,
this was like I don't know. This was like the my hardest to pick.
yeah, honestly, there wasn't that many great female
Yeah,
supporting performances this year.
I mean Emily. I feel like Emily Blunt is just like a tier above, in my opinion, at least.
I'm trying to think who won it. Oh yeah, Divine Joy Randolph won the Golden Globe.
I didn't see
She,
that too, so I mean,
yeah,
I
you
don't.
got to watch
Yeah,
The Holdovers. But all right, and then this next category is this is one that's not at any award show currently, and it's best breakout performance. So this is kind of
yeah,
like an actor who is relatively new to the scene. Maybe they've been in a few things, but they kind of had like a big breakout role this year.
yeah. There was
Um,
honestly a lot of good people to pick for
yeah,
this.
definitely.
Um,
But yeah, I'll start it. I had a Ao Edabiri for Bottoms, Charles Melton from May December, Dominic Sessa from The Holdovers, and Halle Bailey from The Little Mermaid.
I had uh Archie Madu. I can never pronounce his name.
It's like Medekwi or something.
Ndekwi from he was in Saltburn and Gran Turismo, but I guess Gran Turismo he was like the lead in.
He was the lead in
Uh
this.
yeah. But he was also really good in Saltburn. Charles Melton from May December. Neil Verlacqui. I'm so bad at pronouncing names.
Let me see. Wait, hold on.
It's
Yeah, Nell Verlacqui. So we'll say
Verlacqui
that.
from
Uh,
she's the lead in Thanksgiving. And Sophia Wilde from Talk to Me.
yeah, there was a lot of like kind of breakout roles this year. You know,
Yeah.
I was thinking of what's his face, Paul Mescal, but I feel like he's too big now. You know,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't like, and his breakout was last year's movie, which was what's that movie called? After Sun.
After Sun.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see if
but
like, but I feel like there was a bunch
yeah, there was
that like I
definitely a
didn't even
lot.
include. Like,
There was some that I wanted to include, but I didn't. Like Medekwi, who you talked about. He was great. He had a great year this year. Gran Turismo and Saltburn.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, I really like that category though. I feel like the Oscars
yeah,
should have something like that because if you think about it, like the VMAs has Best New Artist, you
yeah,
know.
like best new actress or best like up and
But
coming
I feel
or
like
something like
people will
that.
get annoyed by like new because they'll be like, oh, they're not new. I watched them in this, like you know. But because you know how film people
No, I
can
know.
be.
Well, they'll
But
say like with under a certain amount of credits. I guess I don't know.
yeah, yeah. All right. Anyways, for best director, moving on. I had Alexander Payne for The Holdovers, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Todd Haynes for May December, and Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things.
Me, I had Celine Song from Past Lives, Christopher Nolan from Oppenheimer, Greta Gerwig from Barbie, and Yorgos Lanthimos from Poor Things.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of great directors this year in general. I feel bad for
Yeah,
not putting Greta on because I love Greta, and I think there should be more females on here. I don't have any. They're all there's not a lot of like great female directors out there that are in the mainstream. So, but I don't think they're gonna really give Greta her flowers this year, sadly.
yeah.
But Anyways,
She hasn't really missed though, honestly.
no, she hasn't. We'll see if she misses with Narnia.
Is that her next thing? Really?
Yeah, yeah.
TV show or like a movie?
No, it's a movie. She's doing movies for Netflix. It's at least
Yeah.
2 movies. So
Damn. Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about Narnia, but I'm sure she'll do
yeah,
it
I'm pretty
good.
sure it has like a super like religious allegory or something. I
I
don't
know
know.
the books do, like that it's based off of,
I
or like
wonder
that
how
it's
she's
supposed to be
gonna
very
handle
religious.
that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, let me get to the next category, best screenplay. So I had The Iron Claw, Sean Durkin, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, Past Lives, Celine Song, and Poor Things from Yorgos Lanthimos. Although I don't think Yorgos actually wrote the screenplay. I found out like after the fact. It's this other guy, like Tom. I'm gonna look really quick because I want to give him his
It's like,
credit.
doesn't he always do stuff with him?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, Yorgos like helped with They wrote it together,
Yeah, yeah.
but Tony McNamara, he was the writer. So yeah, I'll give him his credit. So, anyways, yeah.
We
Go
actually
ahead.
had the same exact picks for best screenplay.
All right. Yeah. So it was what Ironclaw, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor
Yeah.
Things. Yeah.
hmm
All right. And then the last two categories are ones that I just thought would be fun. So the next one is best horror feature, and horror literally gets no love at any
Yeah.
awards. So I figure we'll give it, fuck it, we'll give it its own category. So yeah, best horror feature for the year. My picks were Evil Dead Rise by Lee Cronin, The Exorcist Believer from David Gordon Green, Infinity Pool from Brandon Cronenberg, and Saw X from Kevin Greutert.
Yeah, so I had Evil Dead Rise by Lee Cronin, Infinity Pool by Brandon Cronenberg, Saw X by Kevin. What is it?
Reuter,
Gartret.
maybe? I don't know.
And then Talk to Me from the Filippo brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, Talk to Me did not make my list. I know people will probably be upset if anyone's listening, but
Yeah, actually, I really liked it.
I liked it too. I think The Exorcist Believer took that spot for me. I don't know why I love that movie so much, even though it got shit on by everyone.
It was okay. Exorcist Believer. I think Talk to Me was better.
Yeah. All right, and then the last category, just since our show talks about them so much, is best superhero feature. Um, and for me, I had The Flash from Andy Muschietti, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 from James Gunn, The Marvels from Nia DaCosta, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse from Joaquim Dos Santos. Although I think there's multiple directors on that, so I'll have to go back and check.
Yeah, there's a couple. I think there's like two or three. For me, I had The Flash by Andy Muschietti, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 by James Gunn, Across the Spider-Verse. I don't like those. I don't have the names of three directors. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem by Jeff Rowe.
Interesting.
Also,
Yeah, I was gonna.
Blue Beetle was also very good too.
Yeah, I feel like this year's looking at the nominees, it's like very weak
Weak.
for
Yeah.
superheroes. Even though, Spider-Verse was very good, so was Guardians 3.
Yeah.
But the other two kind of, like The Flash wasn't that great, but it just
No.
happened to be my highest rated. So, all
But
right,
I mean,
yeah,
also I realized we forgot we should have done an animated.
best animated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
We
oh
still
yeah,
can. We just supposed.
yeah, what's it called? Um, that would basically just be Spider-Verse, though. I mean, right? What else
No,
really?
this. I saw a bunch of animated movies this year.
I don't
Hold
know.
on.
I'm trying. What
Spider-Verse,
Leo?
Elementals,
Mine would have been Leo
Leo. Oh,
from Adam
I
Sandler.
forgot about that. Yeah, mine would have been. It's probably it's Spider-Verse, Elementals. Uh, I don't know. Probably. I mean, the Mario movie,
Yeah, TMNT. Oh yeah, there's a couple Mario
TMNT.
movie. I haven't seen Wish.
Yeah, I want to
I
see Wish as well. I actually like to see the animated movie, so
yeah, I
Wish is
know.
also on my list.
Yeah, I've been like catching up on Pixar recently. I just watched
Have you
Brave the
seen
other day.
Elemental?
Yeah, I have. The
I
only
actually really
Pixar
like
movie I haven't seen yet is The Good
The Good
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
I watched
Isn't
everything
that
else.
considered like the worst?
Yeah, well, Cars too, but yeah. But anyway, before we get sidetracked, yeah, I just want
Yeah.
to formally like close
You give
off
it a
that.
3.
Yeah, I thought it was mid.
You give it a 4. I actually really liked it.
But yeah, anyways, so next episode we'll say our winners. Uh, so we won't do a list next episode as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that'll be cool. I think we'll have a lot of differing answers probably
Yeah.
for our
I think
winners.
so. Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Now we could move on to some film
Movie
news.
news. Yeah.
There's like a decent amount of things we could talk about. One big piece of casting was Jack Black getting cast in the Minecraft movie to play Steve.
Steve. Yeah.
So I don't, I don't really know how they're gonna play this. I mean, you haven't really played Minecraft, right?
No. Is there any like lore behind Steve, or he's just like
As far as I know, there's no Steve lore. He just is the
just like
character that
okay.
you play as. He's like the
Yeah.
base skin. There's no like
Okay.
there's no really story in Minecraft. It's very open world. But to beat the game, you have to beat the Ender Dragon, which is like you have to collect all the shit and like find this portal and go. So
Yeah.
Steve is the one who like defeats the Ender Dragon. I just so you have Jason Momoa, who's seemingly the lead, and then you have Jack Black as Steve. So if Steve is not the lead, then who is Momoa gonna play?
I guess he's just I don't know.
And
I don't know how
also,
they're gonna play it.
yeah, the fact that it's live action is scaring me because like obviously they're not gonna just do like Minecraft in like realistic
real world,
version,
yeah.
you know? It's probably gonna be, oh, this kid got like sucked into a video game
Yeah,
or
that's what I was
something.
gonna say. I think that's what I think too.
So I have a feeling it's gonna be hybrid animation and live action, and Steve will just be animated and Jack Black will just do voiceover. I don't think we're gonna see Jack Black running around in like a Steve outfit, you
It
know?
would be pretty cool if he did.
That would be funny. Yeah. But if they were gonna do something like that, they would need like a buff, like
You need, like, a Rock.
supermodel type, like yeah, like someone like to
The
be
Rock.
Steve.
Yeah.
But that's funny. Yeah, Jack Black has been making like a resurgence. Yeah, he had he played Bowser. Now he's gonna be Steve.
And he's also got Kung Fu Panda 4 coming
Yep.
out.
Yeah, we just watched Kung Fu Panda 2 yesterday, which I really
Yeah.
enjoyed. Yeah, I'm interested in that actually. I had really no interest, but after watching that movie, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm a little bit hyped for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jack Black I think, especially because of his background in voice acting, I think it makes me more confident that Steve will be an animated character and they're going to do the hybrid thing. But we'll see. Apparently, they're going to start filming soon, I think.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But hearing Jack Black's name in the cast definitely gets me a bit more excited for the film.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. Another small thing that happened was there was a merger between two studios, Blumhouse and Atomic Monster. And it's James Wan's and Jason Blum's studios combined. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean they work together a lot anyway. So I just feel like having their talents and their whatever, their connections and the people from each staff from each company like joining together to. So I guess all their movies are just going to be like joint at this point, you know.
I get
so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's exciting. They're like the biggest names in horror at this point, right?
Right now, yeah.
It would be like two of the biggest names in some other genre, like combining
Marvel and DC. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just like a small tidbit I wanted to throw in.
Yeah.
Speaking of Marvel, though, we got some pretty big news, which is another stone in Marvel's downfall, which is Steven Yeun, who was supposed to play Sentry in Thunderbolts, has sadly dropped out of the project.
I don't think it was due
Yeah,
to any like reason like to do with the script or anything like that. I think it was just
yeah.
because of the strike. It got scheduling conflicts.
I think the whole world kind of was like, "Holy shit!" and just like panicked for a second because they were like, "Damn,
Yeah.
like Marvel's actually doing that bad." But then he ended up speaking of Variety, and he was like, "Oh, I just because of scheduling conflicts and the strike pushing this movie to take longer than it would have normally, I had to leave." But
But
he
he
said
said he
he would
wants to
love
do it. Yeah.
he would love to do a Marvel project in the future. So
But I'm
he'll
sure he'll
probably
be
play a
back.
different character because
Yeah.
apparently they still want to do Sentry in the Thunderbolts because they're like getting ready to film soon.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to film in the spring, so I mean, a couple months.
It sucks that we're losing him, but honestly, I don't think he was the best pick for Sentry anyway. I think he's a great actor. I really like him because I grew up on The Walking Dead, so that's
Yeah.
Glenn. But I didn't think he was the best pick for Sentry. What is
Mhm.
interesting to me is as these rumors were coming out, there was also rumors saying that Marvel has recently met with Ryan Gosling for a role. And I think he would be a great Sentry if they're going that route. I
That would
don't
be
know.
interesting.
I know you brought this up. I don't know if they would replace an Asian actor with a white actor.
I feel like they
I
like
feel like,
can't now. Like they're
yeah,
kind of.
that, yeah, they kind of because obviously they probably took Steven Yeun just because they were like, all right, he's the best actor available for
Yeah,
this.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think
They
they.
didn't
I don't
like.
think
I don't
they
think they.
go in like,
I
oh,
don't.
we need to cast him as an Asian. I think they
Yeah,
they like went in like,
but now
oh,
that this news was already out, I feel like they kind of have to cast another Asian
yeah,
actor. But if they were able to get Ryan Gosling, I think he would be a great Sentry.
yeah, I agree. I think I also
Or
said
go ahead, sorry,
Charles Manson from
or
we just
Charles
talked about
Melton.
Melton. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean maybe he's just getting big, and that Marvel check would probably be
Yeah.
huge for him right now.
Oh, the
I could
he's
see
on
that. Yeah,
Riverdale.
if he's
I'm
willing
sure
to
that
do
would
it, I could see it. Um, I also think Alexander Skarsgård would be a great Sentry as well.
be. Yeah.
Um, but I'm like excited for this only because Steven Yeun said he still wants to do a Marvel movie, so I'm sure they'll find a role for him down the line. So it's not like we're losing him forever. And I
Yeah.
also think he was miscast as Sentry, so they can have another shot at casting the Sentry and also keep Steven Yeun in another role. So I'm not that upset.
Yeah. It's not like the end of the world, you know.
Yeah, I guess we'll figure out whenever they recast and we'll talk about it. But it does kind of suck because now we're just gonna have to wait longer to see him in the MCU.
I
Uh,
mean, not necessarily. Like, I mean, he could be cast in something like that's already been put in like a TV show or that they're gonna do or something
I
like
don't know,
that.
maybe. But
Oh, I
all
didn't
right,
realize. Did Echo come out today?
tonight it comes out at 9
Oh,
tonight. I'm probably
oh,
gonna. I'll probably watch an episode tonight. Maybe. I think the first episode has Daredevil in it.
yeah,
So, but anyways, yeah. Another thing, another person dropping out of a role. So
yeah,
Andrew dropped out of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein movie, which obviously sucks because he's a great actor. He's a very
yeah.
beloved actor. Everyone loves him. And yeah, losing him, he was gonna play the monster. So losing him is a big blow. However, he's getting replaced by Jacob Elordi, who had a great year this year for film.
Yeah.
He was great in Saltburn. He was great in Priscilla. And I
This
think,
is his first kind of like horror kind of.
yeah, I think he would be a pretty great Frankenstein. I feel
I
like
mean, yeah.
he has the look for sure. He's like very
Well, his
tall.
stature, yeah, he definitely has
Yeah,
like the yeah,
he has like the
yeah.
facial
The
structure
fig,
for
he
it
has like the
too.
figure too.
Yeah. So I could definitely see him doing it. But
That's wait, honestly, did I put that on my head like 2024?
I don't
Uh,
think you did because we don't know yet if it's coming out in 2024 because they didn't even start filming yet, obviously. Because
I'm
if
assuming it's gonna start filming soon though. If they,
Yeah, because Netflix actually just tweeted something about it. They tweeted like all the names of the cast. Speaking of, the rest of the cast is great. You have Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth. She's gonna play the bride.
yeah,
Christoph Waltz. Uh,
I
I
want to look
forget.
up the cast
There was
actually.
someone else.
Is it going to be in
Uh,
black and white?
I don't know. I wonder.
So we're going to get Nosferatu and Frankenstein this year.
Yeah. Hopefully. We'll see. Um. Sorry, I just
So
got sidetracked for a second.
Oscar Isaac is the Doctor.
Yeah, he's the scientist or whatever you want to call him. I'm excited for Mia Goth in that as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, it does suck to lose Andrew Garfield. But there is a silver lining here that I saw some people speculating on Twitter.
but he's going to
Um,
be in.
Scorsese just recently was talking about his Jesus movie. You're telling me you can't see Andrew Garfield as Jesus?
We could, but
You think that's why he dropped out?
no.
What
I
would
feel
take?
like
What would it take to drop out of a Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie, playing Frankenstein? It must be something spicy. Like it's got to be something good.
Spider-Man.
I don't know. I don't know. You think you would drop out for Spider-Man?
I mean, maybe.
I feel like Jesus is more plausible. And he's looking like Jesus. You could picture him as Jesus.
You
Like his
think they're gonna
facial
make
hair.
Jesus like? I thought they were gonna cast somebody like Middle
It's Mar-
Eastern.
it's Martin Scorsese, bro. He's a white Italian man. He's not gonna cast a Middle Eastern Jesus.
He might.
I doubt it. But
That would be a good
whatever.
like if they. No, that would be a good pick.
Yeah. Um yeah. But anyways. I'm very excited for that film.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it when we have more info. Sorry if you guys hear some noise in the background. But anyways, another thing that actually got announced today was some Star Wars news. They're making a movie focused on the Mandalorian and Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, for those of you who are uncultured and don't know his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is some exciting news to me. I mean,
I'm assuming this is replacing Mandalorian season 4.
well, I saw someone say on Twitter. I saw something on Twitter that said they're still doing season 4. It's just going to be after the movie. So I'm definitely a big fan of movie over TV. So I'm excited to see this character and these characters in the movie format. It's being directed by Jon Favreau, produced by Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy. So there's a lot of potential. You're gonna have not Oscar Isaac, Pedro Pascal, unless he decides not to return to the role for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be other characters. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ahsoka show up. But yeah, I just feel like it's been a while since we've had a Star Wars film. It's been since episode 9, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm happy to have Star Wars back in the theaters. Like it's exciting.
Yeah. I know that Rey movie is starting to film soon. I think that's filming this year.
I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah, I am. I like Daisy Ridley.
Yeah. I hope they give her justice.
Yeah.
I was
They
talking to my
also
friends about like they did her so dirty.
Yeah, they did that whole entire cast dirty. All
Yeah.
the three main people in that are like the least memorable of the main characters of any of the Star Wars movies. Like Obi-Wan and
Yeah.
Anakin in the prequels and Padme. Like they were all done justice. They were good characters.
Yeah.
Then obviously like Luke, Leia, and Han. They were obviously amazing. And then you have like what the fuck is even his name? What is Oscar Isaac's character's name? Poe Dameron. Poe, Finn,
Oh
and
yeah.
Ray. Like think about them three compared to the other two trios I just said. They
Yeah,
have
no,
no
it's good.
like cultural significance at all or anything. They were just done so dirty. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully Star Wars has a comeback. I feel like it's been out of the theater long enough that when they do return, people are gonna get excited and buy tickets and whatnot.
Yeah. It would be I wonder who the villain's gonna be. I think it's
Um,
not gonna be Thrawn because Thrawn they're gonna have to do the heir to the Empire. He's gonna be the villain of that.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Unless they morphed that movie into just a Mando and
I think
Grogu
they
movie.
morphed like season 4 into this.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's definitely possible. Do you think that? Do you think that they would do a de-aged Luke in a movie?
I hope not, but I don't trust Disney.
I feel like doing it in a movie is different than doing it for
Different,
a
yeah.
TV show.
Because Deadass
I
in the
don't.
show is for like 2 scenes. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what necessarily would make it different, but I just feel like it would be different.
I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, once when we find out more, there's very little known about that besides that it's happening. I don't know
Yeah.
when it's going into production, when it's filming, anything like that. So yeah, and then there's like another bit that came out today you could talk about for a little if you want. Is that Tom Cruise signed like a first look deal with Warner Brothers, so he's gonna be making a bunch of movies with them, producing and starring.
Yeah.
So
And I also saw, did you see he's gonna get like his own office at the lot too?
that's like that just makes sense for Tom Cruise, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned, do you think that might mean that he's going to be in a DC project?
Because it said like he was gonna star in original and already established franchises for Warner Brothers. And like what else would he? I don't think they're gonna put him in fucking Harry Potter. Like what else would he fucking? You know what I mean? What else is he gonna be in?
He's going to play Dumbledore.
Can you imagine they cast him in a some type of Harry Potter thing?
I don't know.
Who would even
He's
play
gonna
him?
Tom Cruise in the Harry Potter world, like Lockhart maybe.
I don't know. I don't know Harry Potter enough to.
He's like the dude that's you wouldn't know, but he's basically like a fraud. He's this author that he's supposed to be like this handsome like womanizer guy, and then like he turns out to be a fraud.
Yeah.
I feel like he could play that, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he does DC, you think they would give him the Hal Jordan, or do you think they want to go with someone
No,
younger?
I think they're gonna do like, unless they want to do like, because you know how they want to do buddy cop. If he would be like the older one, and then they just cast John. What's his name? Stewart. John Stewart, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Him younger and just do Hal Jordan older. But he's old. Dude. He's 60.
yeah.
So I mean, you could definitely like get him. I mean, Mission Impossible, he looks like he's fucking like 40.
Dude, I'm honestly surprised that like he signed with Warner Brothers. I feel like no one fucks with Warner Brothers these days.
He probably,
Just
honestly,
because,
I don't know. He saw the success of Barbie and shit. Because
yeah.
that came out during Mission Impossible, and they were doing,
Who was he? He was with who? Paramount.
hmm
Yeah, interesting.
And I feel like Warner Brothers has their IPs are like bigger than Paramount's. Like the DC alone is like the most, that's probably their biggest IP that they own.
Yeah, or Harry Potter.
Or
One of the
Harry
two.
Potter. Yeah. But like
But
DC is probably worth more just because of how much they use. Like Harry Potter, they've only really done the movies. Think about how much DC stuff they've done.
yeah, but dude, Harry Potter's so huge. Like it's a
No, I
lot bigger
know.
than you think. It
So they're
has so
talking
much
like all over
relevance.
the world, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying like
No,
he's
I
gonna
know.
be in a Harry Potter thing or anything. But yeah, it also said within the contract apparently that he could do work outside of Warner Brothers too, if he wants.
Yeah.
Which is like, I guess he's just gonna favor Warner Brothers. Like, what is the point of having an exclusive
His production
contract?
company. Like he can star in other movies like for different companies, but like I don't think he can produce other movies.
I see. Yeah, so maybe I'll make a couple more Mission Impossibles.
He
But
produces that too, low-key.
I'm sure if he wanted to, he'd be able to.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's probably like if he wants to do anything like original that he wants to produce, they'll just do it at
Yes,
Warner
yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't he want to do a musical or something?
I didn't know
With
that.
I heard he wants to do a musical with the guy who directs Mission Impossible. I forget his name. He's like
Make
a good director though. Mick something.
yeah.
Let me look that up.
Isn't like Scott Mixon?
Let's see. I don't wanna. Oh, Christopher McQuarrie.
No, we're way off.
Well, we got the Mick right. Yeah, I heard he wants to do like a musical with him or something. So
That'd be
maybe they'll
fun.
do that over at Warner Brothers. That's a huge get for Warner Brothers, though. I feel like he's very well respected in the movie
Yeah,
industry, and people love him. So
and he
yeah.
gets people like to get in the theaters. I feel like too.
And that's like
He's like
kind
a
of
big
what they
name.
need. That's what Warner Brothers needs now,
Yeah,
since they're broke. All right. Anyways, oh maybe he'll produce a DC thing, just so they could toss his name on, like, oh, produced by Tom Cruise.
and
But
they could.
yeah. All right. Anyways, the last bit of news is we had the Golden Globes on Sunday, and I just want to do a quick, just talk about it a little bit. Some of
I really
the
didn't get to
winners,
that.
any surprises.
I was in Canada. I didn't really get to see it.
Yeah, the show, like, it was terrible. It was one of the worst hosts, apparently,
Yeah, I
in the
heard it
years.
was like yeah.
They got him to do they got him to do it like a couple weeks ago, and he had to like come up
Awesome.
with whatever. He wrote some jokes, but the thing is, he's in the middle of telling jokes. When people didn't laugh at it, he's like, "Oh, don't blame me. Like, I got picked for this like a week ago, and I didn't get to write all the jokes. Like some people wrote them." Like he's like bitching on stage about like people not laughing at his jokes. Like, why are you throwing your writers under the bus? Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing? It was just so weird. Like a lot of the jokes were offensive. I don't have anything against this guy. His name's like Joe Coy or something.
yeah,
But like, what are you doing? Just take it in stride. Don't
yeah.
like, you know,
Roll with the punches. Don't you know?
people were hating saying on his jokes, saying they were like misogynistic, and because he said something like he was like, "Oh, we had a 3 hour long drama about the nuclear bomb and how it affects man." And then a movie about a doll with big boobies. That was like his joke, which it's a stupid joke.
Yeah, it's,
But like people are like, "Oh, he's misogynistic because he said that women are only valued for their how they look to men." It's like, bro,
I mean, it's a misogynistic joke.
like it's a joke. It's supposed to be contrasting something how there was an insanely serious movie and then like a goofy movie. Like obviously, yeah, he didn't choose the best wording, but I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's a misogynist." We don't even know if he wrote that. But
Yeah,
people, bro, I'm actually getting so fed up with Twitter. People complain about everything. Well,
yeah,
I scroll through my feed, it's someone complaining about something, someone complaining about this, a comment saying, "Oh no, but what about this? What about?" It's so toxic. Like, there's nothing that could happen that people would just be like, "Okay." There's just someone complaining about everything. He made a joke about Taylor Swift. He was like, "Oh, the only difference between the NFL and the Golden Globes is that the Globes has less cutaways to shots of Taylor Swift." I thought that was a good joke because you watch the NFL and you watch the Chief game and they're always cutting to Taylor Swift. It was funny.
I mean,
Like people got offended by that. Like
well, they
what
get
is
offended
offensive
by it.
about? I don't because like Taylor didn't like the joke. Or, I don't. It's just people just complain about everything. It's so annoying. But whatever. Um, Besides from his presentation, I think everything basically went as I expected in terms of the awards.
Yeah,
The best act, um, musical comedy was Emma Stone, and then drama was uh, Lily Gladstone from Kills the Flower Moon. That's
yeah,
probably going to be the race when it comes to the Oscar, because there's only one best actress for the Oscar. For the Golden Globes, they do two of each. So
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I expected both of them to get it, and then for the dudes, it was Paul Giamatti
Eddie
for
Murphy.
comedy and Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Um,
Who else
Pretty
was nominated for comedy?
uh, Nicolas Cage for Dream Scenario, Joaquin Phoenix for Beau Was Afraid. Um, Maybe no, not Barry. Barry was for drama.
TV show. Yeah.
No, not no Barry Keoghan. I'm talking about.
Oh well.
Yeah, no, he was for drama. I don't know. I forget. But yeah, no Zac Efron.
Damn.
A bit disappointed.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then best director was Nolan. He's gonna win the Oscar. There's no way. This is like
Yeah.
it's like the perfect story because he's never won an Oscar before. He's obviously very well known as a great director, and he came out with this movie that just everyone loves.
Yeah.
So like they're gonna give it to him. But one thing people are talking about, Bradley Cooper got no awards for Maestro, and it's like the most awards baity movie that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's just clear Oscar bait. No, there's no shot.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people shitting on him on Twitter. A lot of people hate him so much.
Well, people, like I said, Twitter, you can't really take Twitter at face value because it's so toxic and people hate everything. But it's just because it's so clear that he's like pushing for this Oscar, and it's kind of like coming off as try hard a little bit. So people are like, oh, he's trying so hard for this award.
Did he get one for Stars Born?
He got nominated for Best Actor, but not Best Director. He didn't win though. Rami Malek won, which for Bohemian Rhapsody. I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody.
I heard that aged poorly.
Yeah. I heard that he's not that great in that movie.
He was really good in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I mean he's not in it much.
No, I know.
Yeah, you want to know another surprise though? Spider-Verse didn't win Best Animated.
Yeah, so apparently Boy and the Heron is very good though.
It's good. It's very good. I enjoyed it, but it's not better than Spider-Verse. Not in like any shot of the imagination. Really? It's not even close.
What else was nominated?
Just bullshit like Disney's movies. Wish got nominated. It was Wish, Boy and the Heron, Spider-Verse.
Think about the nominees like this year versus like last year we had Puss in Boots and what was the other one? And Pinocchio.
Well, it seems like this year there's going to be a good race too. Pinocchio and Puss in Boots, and then this year's Spider-Verse and Boy and the Heron. So
Boy and the Heron.
Yeah. Also another surprise, best screenplay was Anatomy of a Fall, which I was pretty surprised about. I actually watched that like 2 weeks ago. Very good movie. I don't think it was the best screenplay, but it was a very good movie. Yeah. That's definitely gonna win best international for sure.
You think over Godzilla?
Godzilla's not even gonna get nominated. There's no way. No. You think the Oscars are gonna nominate a giant monster movie?
I mean, it is a good. Like the story's really good.
No, I agree. I think it
it should be nominated. Yeah.
It's my favorite international film from the year.
Yeah. They might, dude. You never know.
We'll see.
Joker won the fucking best actor.
Yeah, that's true. But that was another thing where it was kind of like there was reasons for them to do that. It was kind of like mirroring Heath Ledger a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to Joaquin's my favorite actor. Don't get me wrong. I was hyped when he won. Yeah. But aside from that, nothing else really sticks out. Oh, RDJ won Best Supporting. He's probably gonna. No, RDJ's probably. No, they only do one for supporting. RDJ's pretty much confirmed. Like he's probably gonna win the Oscar.
Yeah.
But I think Mark Ruffalo had a better performance.
I mean, they're both really good. It's close.
Yeah. No, I don't want to say that Downey.
Like you could go either or. Honestly.
Yeah, I think it's definitely deserving if he wins.
Yeah.
But Mark Ruffalo would be my choice. And supporting actress was the girl Divine Joy Randolph. She's probably going to win the Oscar as well. So,
is she in anything else? No. It's like her.
I think she is, but not anything I've seen or that I know of. Yeah, that kid Dominic Sessa from The Holdovers, he wasn't nominated for anything, but he was great. I think he deserved to be nominated for supporting actor. Yeah. It's kind of funny though. The story is like Alexander Payne, who directed The Holdovers, went to the school that they were filming at and just held like open casting calls for that part. And there was this kid that just like went to the school and never acted before, and he just auditioned and got it. And it was Dominic Sessa. and he was like fantastic in the movie. Crazy how you could. There's like this hidden talent just waiting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one of us. Maybe
They make a movie about Farrell.
Yeah. But all right.
The movie looks
Yeah.
it looks like it has like Farrell vibes at school.
It's like a boarding school. You gotta watch it, dude. You have to watch that soon.
I know, yeah.
But all right. I guess we can move on. Move on to our last movie. Which I recommended last time, so I'll give a little summary of it. So the movie is 2001: A Space Odyssey, which came out in 1968, directed by Stanley Kubrick. And this is known to be the best movie of all time. Like, it's a lot of people's the greatest movie ever made, up there with, The Godfather. As obviously Stanley Kubrick is very famous, and he's one of the great directors. And I actually had watched this once before. I was at like a Poconos house with my friends one year, and we were just like, we were kind of snowed in, so we were like, let's just toss this on. And I just like didn't get it and didn't like it. This is like before I really started caring about movies. But revisiting it now, like, I actually loved it. I get it, Not I don't like get it, like I don't get the story fully.
You
But like
understand why.
I understand. Yeah, now I get why people say this is the greatest movie ever made. Because if you look at this movie and some of the effects in this movie from 1968, which our mom was born in 1969, so this movie came out a year before she was even born. And like, it holds up better than like some current day effects.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's actually unreal.
Yeah, like even like it mirrors stuff that we do now. Like in the future, like back then, like there's a scene that they have of like kind of like a FaceTime thing. Like, and this was what'd you say, 1960 what?
68.
Yeah, 1968. And they basically had some form of a FaceTime. Like it's just crazy to think about.
I know, they predicted a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no one had been to the moon yet, right? I think that happened.
No, I don't. I think they went to the moon.
Let me look it up. What year was the moon landing? I don't want to talk out of my ass. So let me see. What year was the moon landing? 1969. So this movie came out before anyone had landed on the moon. And I'm sure there wasn't really footage of space.
No.
So the way that gravity worked and like what spacesuits looked like and all this stuff was kind of like predicted, Yeah. And they nailed it. I also realized like it's a clear homage or homage, whatever, to in Guardians 3, those spacesuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe 2001: A Space Odyssey copied Guardians with those.
Yeah.
I really can't believe that. No, but I remember when that trailer for Guardians was like, yo, it's like Among Us. Meanwhile, it's clearly like based off this movie. But yeah, aside from like that FaceTime thing, I think there was a couple other things.
Yeah.
Like Hal. Hal is like Siri or Alexa. Having this, oh, Hal, open the door, Hal, do this. That's like Alexa that we have now. Just like the set design, the costumes, everything. It was very cool. I liked how
music is like.
Well, the music's iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much like of the original score of the film is just music from like that I've heard just in so many different other forms of media.
Yeah, definitely. And people parody this movie a lot. Barbie just did it.
Yeah.
With the opening scene. But yeah, to go into the story a little bit, there's like this monolith thing that appears at the beginning of the film when there's like a bunch of pre-human men. It just appears to them, and they're like apes. And then later on in the film, this guy is tasked with like going to this strange object and like investigating it, and it is the same monolith. Somehow it's buried in an alien planet. So they're like, oh, it proves that there could be life outside of humans.
Yeah.
But what is? I don't really understand what it all means. Like, how was it there at the dawn of man? And like, how does it end up on another planet? You know, what is it? What does it represent? That stuff confused me a lot,
Yeah.
and I still don't get it. And I think a lot of people still don't get it.
I still don't understand either.
But I really did like those beginning scenes though with the apes. How it
Yeah.
showed, it kind of like showed a basic, a Spark Notes version of like the evolution of man.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like at
I
first
like
they're living alongside with those weird like pig things, and then they discover like a weapon when he finds the bone, and then they end up, you know, using it to kill the pigs, and then they're eating the pigs, and then they end up using the weapon to fight each other. I just thought that was very interesting. It was like,
Yeah.
it was cool, like
Kind of a
visual
progression
story.
of yeah.
Visual storytelling. And I just feel like it can't be stressed enough, like how impressive and game changing this was for 1968.
Yeah.
There was like
It's just the visuals.
the fact that it's
specifically.
impressive now is like, what were people thinking when this movie came out back then?
Yeah,
It was-
bro, that that like scene towards the end, like where it's just like kind of that
There, when he goes in space, it's just like the rainbow colors, kind of.
Mhm.
Like, can you imagine like seeing that back then?
Yeah,
And like, you know,
that's like it's similar to what happened in Babylon. That ending,
yeah,
you know, the end of Babylon where like there's all those colors and shit.
yeah,
That's another movie taking inspiration from this. Yeah, like what would a 1968 person think about that? Like seeing that scene.
yeah.
I don't even understand what's happening at that point in the movie.
Yeah, nah, it kind of. I mean, it's a little like boring at that point.
Yeah.
It goes on for like literally like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I want to quickly touch on my favorite character. Maybe not the most conventional one, but I really liked Hal. I liked the
Yeah, I was
robot.
actually yeah.
I think there were certain scenes. Hal was very interesting to me, and it was very scary, kind of like it got to like horror movie levels at a point where a lot of the like, imagine telling Alexa like, "Yo, Alexa, like turn off my lights," and then Alexa just like, "No."
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
like
it's scary to think of like an operating system like rebelling against the user. Obviously,
Yeah.
the stakes are way higher than turning off the lights in this part. Dude, like Hal actually murders one of the spacemen.
but he kills all the men in hibernation too.
Yeah, but that scene where he like I forget
Knocks the
what
guy,
he does
yeah. I
exactly,
think he
but
like
he like
smacks the
fucks
guy
the
like
dude
out.
into space.
Yeah.
It's like holy shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting how they were planning to shut down Hal and he was able to like read their lips.
Yeah. No, I like that too.
Also, my favorite scene, I think, is there's so many. I really like the beginning scenes with the apes. I like the scene where he's trying. I forgot the main character's name, but he's like trying to reattach himself while he's in his pod, and it's just like the only thing you hear is his breathing, and it's like the pod is, you know, floating about.
Yeah, honestly, it felt like it was almost like I don't want to say a horror movie, but there was moments in the movie that really like were intense or like, you know,
Yeah,
anxiety inducing.
definitely. But yeah, my favorite scene is when he's disconnecting Hal, and he's kind of like having this moment of like clarity and like realization that he's gonna die, even though he's like not a real living being.
Yeah.
And he starts kind of talking to Hal, talking to the guy, and he's like, please don't. And then he's like, I'm scared. It was just like, it was so eerie to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Because how could he be scared? He's a robot, you know?
No,
But
exactly.
I really enjoyed that scene. And then he starts singing that song,
The song
like the Daisy. That's like
Yeah.
on TikTok now. Um, but yeah, I think I enjoyed that portion of the movie the most, like where it's the two men in space and then them and Hal. There was a
Yeah.
lot of great shots. There's the famous one of him in the orange spacesuit, and it's like in that circular
That hallway.
cabin,
Yeah.
that hallway. I think a lot of the shots of him running around the space station in like a circle, very impressive for the time. It's
Yeah.
like it's seamless. You can't tell that it's like camera trickery. It looks real.
Mhm.
I'm assuming they built the set so that the set itself rotates, but I'm not 100% sure how they pulled that off. Like that's what I'm saying. Like shit like it's impressive to me now.
Yeah. And the
Like
fact
and
that
it's
they
like
did it like, over 50
50
years
year,
ago.
yeah. Um, we what did you have a favorite scene in particular?
I mean, it's basic, but the scene when he first like discovers to like breaking the bones, like with
Hmm.
I mean, that's really iconic to me. And then, I mean, there are a lot of scenes that, I mean, I really like this. I know it's simple, but there's a scene of him like jogging in a hallway, but it's like that circular,
Yeah,
and it gives the illusion that he's running upside down.
yeah, it was very well shot.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and that scene you were talking about with the bone, that has like one of the best jump cuts in
yeah,
cinema history, where he throws the bone up, then it cuts to like a spaceship that's like the same size as the bone. So it's kind of
yeah.
like the dawn of man, and then it's like the future of
Fast
man.
forward to yeah,
Um, the the models that they used and like for the spacecrafts and stuff looked very good,
hmm
on par with Star Wars, like the earlier Star Wars
yeah.
movies.
Honestly felt all inside the spaceships like it felt like it was like in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, definitely Star Wars pulled inspiration from this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so if you want to talk about the ending a little bit,
So
um,
I mean,
so
he
yeah, the guy gets back into the spaceship and he ends up shutting down Hal, and then he sort of goes off into space. I guess he goes towards the monolith. Like, what do you remember what happens
well, they were
exactly?
going towards Jupiter, I think, right?
I forget wherever that monolith was. Was it on Jupiter?
I think so. So they were going towards there, and I guess the what like I don't know, like they go there, and then what the monolith is just there, and
I don't know, because it
it's
doesn't like show them get to it.
yeah,
It's just
it's just
him.
black.
It's just the one guy, and then it shows like his face, and it's like flashing, and there's all these lights and this weird, crazy visuals that, like you said, it goes on for like 5 minutes, and then he ends up somehow his spaceship ends up like in a futuristic house, like a weird futuristic home, and then he sees himself as an old man.
But then it's like weird. He keeps seeing versions like of himself.
Yeah, and then he goes into bed and dies, seemingly. Then the monolith just appears in the room. And then like his old body turns into a baby that's like in a bubble.
And it looks like a fetus, kind of.
Yeah. And then the baby like hovers towards Earth, and then the
Just
movie
kind of
just ends.
watching. Yeah,
I have no
I don't
idea.
get it. Yeah.
I have no idea, honestly.
Did he ever like? What did he say about? I'm also curious. What did people think of it when it came out? Like, obviously, people probably loved it for the visuals, but like the ending specifically.
I don't know, because it's a very challenging ending. It's like a
Yeah.
very challenging movie in general. If this came out now, people would be like, "What the fuck is this?" You know? Like,
Yeah.
and think about, for back then, it was so different.
No, I know.
It was like, it was groundbreaking. Um, but yeah, I'm not too sure, honestly. I feel like there probably is a consensus meaning, but I didn't want to like look it up because I kind of wanted
Yeah.
to just brainstorm now and like try to figure out what I thought of it. But I feel like maybe all those visuals, maybe he like went through a black hole and he ended up like traveling in time, and that's how he saw his older self. But
I mean,
then again, like there is something to do with time travel, I feel like,
yeah.
because the monolith is in
The
early
the past and
prehistoric man.
yeah. The past, the
But,
present when the movie starts, and in the future at the end of the movie.
mhm. But then again, like what is it? What does it represent? I don't know.
I don't know.
what does the baby mean? I
Yeah, I don't
think
know.
do you think it might be something religious? Like
I think maybe like he's just it's the next evolution of man. Maybe I thought.
that could be it. That could be it because the beginning is like the first evolution of it's like
Yeah,
the
whatever the
beginning.
next like
Yeah,
I guess the monolith helps him evolve or so. I don't know.
yeah. There actually is a sequel to this movie.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's called like 2010, the year we made contact or some shit like something like that. Apparently it's
He
terrible.
directed it.
No, I'm gonna
Oh, there's
I'm gonna look it up. Let's see. 2010, the year we made contact. Let's see. It says while planet Earth poises on the brink of nuclear self-destruction, a team of Russian and American scientists aboard the Leonov hurtles towards a rendezvous with the still orbiting Discovery spacecraft and its sole known survivor, the homicidal computer HAL. So, I wonder
a rating.
how you can follow up this movie. It has a 3.2 on Letterboxd, so actually higher than I expected.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad.
But how do you follow up this movie? Like, honestly,
I, I don't know. I don't.
there's no like real. I mean, there is a
Reason.
there's a linear story in like in the fact that they're like, oh, you have to go investigate this monolith, this thing that's seemingly buried underground. And they said it seemed like it had been purposefully buried there.
Buried there, yeah.
So then I guess the story is like him going to investigate it and then, Hal turns on them and whatnot. But for the overall story, like from start to finish, there's not like how do you continue that, you know? Especially that last shot. Like how do they explain that baby? Do they address the baby at all in the sequel? I
Probably
wonder.
not.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it sounds like if he didn't direct it, it probably was like a cash grab.
Yeah. Sure. But yeah, no, I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad I checked it out again.
I did too. I also like. I don't. I mean, it's also could have been the product of the time, but obviously the visuals are amazing. But I didn't think the script was like that. Anything like. Dude, I thought it was okay.
Yeah. I
The
still thought it
dialogue
was
wasn't.
I thought it was good, but
Like I think the dialogue with Hal is great, but the human dialogue I didn't think was that good.
yeah, I can understand that. Um but all right, yeah, to get to ratings, I gave it a 4.5 star, 9 out of 10. I think that eventually it probably will go up to a 5 the more I rewatch it and if I begin to understand it, because the more I'm talking about it, like the more I think about how I loved it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I gave it a 4 out of 5, so an 8 out of 10. Mostly just for at the time it was unlike any other movie that ever came out, especially the visuals. But I feel like that kind of carries the movie a lot. The visuals and the music and
Yeah. No, I definitely understand for sure. But yeah, I'm glad I recommended it though. I
yeah,
feel like
no,
we
I'm
have to
happy I
get to
saw it.
that
Yeah,
at some point. So, all right. I guess that about wraps up our discussion. We don't have any questions for the Q&A, so um,
I don't
I
have any
guess you
questions.
can.
No.
People have run out of questions to ask us, and
Damn,
I posted the question poll like twice, and I guess no one. People don't give a fuck about us. God.
damn. Well, but
Yeah.
do you want to hear my
But yeah,
recommendation?
yeah. Give your movie rec for
Oh,
next episode.
it's actually a movie that we have to see because the sequel to it is coming out soon. But the movie's Dune, which I haven't seen and I've been meaning to see for a while. And I know how much you obviously love that movie.
Yeah, I was actually planning on recommending Dune at some point before the second one came out. So
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I'm hyped to rewatch it.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
never
and
seen.
like,
I mean, I like the cast. The cast looks sick.
yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy it, and it is another like space epic, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then besides that, so this Friday we have Mean Girls musical, Book of Clarence, and The Beekeeper. But maybe we'll just pick one. Or you want to do the Mean Girls musical?
Yeah, honestly.
Out of all those, that's the one that's the most exciting.
Yeah, actually, I not rewatched, but I watched for the first time the original Mean Girls with my girlfriend like a week or so ago, just to prepare myself because she wanted to see this. And honestly, it's pretty good. I actually
I've
liked
never
it.
seen it.
I understand why it has like the cultural significance that it does, and a lot of the
Yeah.
lines you're like, oh, like a lot of things that happen in the movie, you're like, oh, okay, I recognize that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but all right, yeah. So we'll do
Yeah.
the Mean Girls musical. The week after, there's literally nothing, so we'll just do Dune then,
Yeah. Sounds
and
good.
we'll give our winners for
Yeah.
the awards. So, all right, well, thanks everyone for listening. Follow us on socials. Follow us on
Ask us some questions.
Instagram. Yeah, so you could ask us questions. Follow us on X. Follow our letterboxes. You could see how we rate the movies that we don't talk about on the podcast. And yeah, that's really it. We'll be back in 2 weeks for episode 41. So thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you guys.